And here we go with another episode of CFB Late Night here at the Voice of College Football. My name's John D'Adamo, and I am taking you through at least the next hour here today at Voice of College Football, filling in for the great Mark Rogers. And we're coming to you, of course, on YouTube. We're coming to you on X, on both the Voice of College Football X and my own X. But also check out Voice of College Football on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Amazon, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Folks, I have placed the call link in chat, so you can go ahead and call in about whatever you want. And I'm guessing some people are going to want to call in about the Boca Raton Bowl or how it relates to the Michigan head coaching search. I thought those would be some pretty good topics for tonight, given that we just had the Boca Raton Bowl, where Louisville defeated the Toledo Rockets 27-22 in a slobber knocker of a game where it did look like Louisville was the slightly better team, but Toledo put up one heck of a fight as well. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Hitting the like button just takes a second to invite more folks into the chat here and into watching our show. All right. So let's go ahead and, one more thing. So we are, so how Mark does it, and I'll do it the same way. For if you want a second hour of our show, $150 in super chats, super stickers, memberships, membership gifts, and then we go a second hour. And since it's Christmas, I can go third hour too. So it's Christmas. I have the day off tomorrow, so I could go a couple extra hours if y'all want me to. And we can take lots of calls, and we could do this up really big. So really thank you everyone for being here. And we have our first super chat right now from the great Adam Lamparello, who is the host of Rutgers Scarlet Knights Live here at the Voice of College Football. And he says, Boca Raton is where wealthy white-collar criminals go to hide in their mansions. It's no place for a bowl, and the game was a disgrace. The more important question is, will Alabama defeat Indiana? It depends. So Alabama has shown at times the ability to defeat really good teams like Georgia throughout the regular season. Indiana, though, is on a mission this year. They've been defeating really good teams, including, let's not forget, Indiana defeated Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. 13-10, a great score, by the way, 13-10 in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State's widely considered to be the number one team in the nation. So I think that this game could go either way. If I had to pick right now, I'd probably lean Alabama a tad after they won in the trenches, came back after being down 0-17 to OU, and then coming back and defeating OU. That was a really impressive showing. And if they have another showing like that where they can just score in bunches. Like, they just put up 17 points like that and tied the game. So I don't know. We do have Ed Rogers chiming in saying Indiana will win easily. So Ed Rogers believes Indiana will win, and I think Indiana has a great shot to win. I don't know about easily, because I think Alabama has the capability to score a lot more than Indiana's used to seeing most of the time. Ohio State being an exception, where Ohio State was a very, very high octane offense during the season. And then Indiana held them to just 10. So Adam brought us down to just 125 to go for second hour. While we wait for people to call in, so everybody can call the show through the link that's right here and give their take. But let's go ahead and look at some of these comments. So we've got Dom saying, hello, Mark. So Mark's out tonight, but go Who's, absolutely. Thank you, Dom. Tukey, good evening. Conundrum, sorry we kept you waiting. So the reason the show is delayed is because the Michigan show went 2.5 hours tonight, thanks to the generosity of the community. And we had to knock out all three of those topics. We couldn't skip one, right? Because the three topics were head coach, and then what happened with Sharon Moore and inside the Michigan program the last year, and also the Citrus Bowl. We couldn't skip one of those topics. So we went 2.5 hours tonight on the Michigan show, and now I'm here with you to go at least another hour on the main channel, The Voice of College Football. Okay. We got Moose. That's right, Moose. I am filling in for Mark tonight. Mark asked me to fill in. He is enjoying some time with family and friends and has asked. So by the way, you are going to see not just me. You're also going to see over the next week and a half, the great Matt Zemek, the great, I believe, Corey Bratta will be a host. Matt Miller. So you're going to see some of the Voice of College Football personalities are going to be hosting over the next few days during the Christmas holiday. And if I haven't said it already, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. 2 days away, very exciting times. While we wait for some more callers, we do have our first caller of the night, and that is Adam Lamparello here with us. How you doing? Merry Christmas. Almost. We're almost there.
Hey, John. Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thanks so much for having me on. How are you doing?
I'm great. We like I said, we just had a 2.5 hour show on the Michigan channel, and that's why we were a bit delayed today. Michigander was there with us. Thanks, Michigander, for joining us over here as well. He's one of our mods over there, as is Moose. He's a mod over there. So great to see everybody joining on the main channel too.
Yeah, I saw a good portion of that show. It was
great,
fantastic. You guys always do a great job, you and TJ. And I'm calling in from New Jersey. Just flew in on a Delta Airlines flight into Newark.
Okay.
So always good to be in New Jersey, right by New York City at this time of the year.
Yeah.
But I'm calling in because I
was just in New York, by the way. I was just in New York this weekend. I took my fiance. We went and saw. We went to Rockefeller Center. We went to We went to a deli and a couple of things, sushi, you name it.
Yeah,
it was a pretty jam-packed weekend.
New York has some great delis. Second Avenue Deli is one of the best, and Rockefeller Center is always good to go to. But I guess my question is, I would like to know why everyone thinks Ohio State is the number. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt my own self, but Cat's Deli, yes, delicious.
Yep.
Why does everyone think Ohio State is the number one team in the country? What has Ohio State done all year that has made people think that they are number one in the country? I'm not impressed. They lost to Indiana. They beat Washington, I believe it was 24-6. They beat Illinois 34-16. Rutgers was within 2 scores at the half. So why all of this almost mystical praise for Ohio State?
You're going to make me defend Ohio State. Okay. So fair point. I will concede. Obviously Indiana has the head-to-head, of course. But through the season, I think that they demonstrated that they were a fairly consistent team. So in terms of their in terms of their obviously they had Julian Sayin had one of the highest completion percentages in the history of college football. So he was performing at a pretty high clip. You had Jeremiah Smith, another super high octane player. Carnell Tate has come into his own this year, took a step up from last year. You know, you're gonna have to get Dr. Buckeye in here to really advocate, because you're asking the host of the Michigan Wolverines live show. But I will tell you this: if you go by head to head and you go by win loss, Indiana would have a case, right? Because they beat them.
I think so. And when I look at Ohio State's schedule, I see that they beat Texas 14-7. They beat Grambling State. They beat Ohio.
Tough game there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Ohio University. They beat Washington, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Penn State, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and Michigan, which was having, an off year. So who is exactly Ohio State beaten? When you look at a team like Alabama beat Georgia. They beat LSU. They beat South Carolina. They beat Oklahoma in Norman, beat Georgia in Athens. I'm not saying Alabama's better than Ohio State, but I am saying that Ohio State's reputation and ranking seems to me to be a bit undeserved. And I don't know why we think that they're this impenetrable force when, in fact, I think that they are ultimately a house of cards.
That's fair. I mean, I will say that in total defense, they're number one in total defense. So yards per game, the lowest allowed, 213.5. Toledo's actually, funny enough, number two. And we saw them play in the Boca Raton Bowl against Louisville. And Louisville was able to score a little bit more on their defense. So, I mean, do I think this is the best Ohio State team I've ever seen? No, but I think that there aren't a lot of genuinely amazing teams, right?
No, I agree. Yeah.
And so I put Indiana right up there too, though. I'm with you. I'm not saying that Ohio State's a definitive number one.
Yeah, I guess my last two questions, and they're very direct questions, are number one, how good do you think Oregon is after watching them play James Madison?
So, Oregon, their offenses, let's be real. I mean, they have a great offense. Defense was surprisingly bad. Given the fact that Dan Lanning is a defensive head coach, D coordinator at Georgia, I think what happened was in the fourth quarter, they let some starters sit. Yeah. And allowed James Madison to kind of just get some freebie yards. I don't know if it would have been such a high scoring game for JMU if George had kept, or if Oregon had kept their starting defense in there.
I agree with you. And my next question is about Indiana. So Indiana is going to be without Stephen Daly, one of their best pass rushers. And now Indiana defeated Iowa at Kinnick Stadium 20-15. They defeated Penn State 27-24 based on one of the best catches I've seen. I believe it was by Amari Cooper to win the game.
It was really
good is Indiana? How good is Indiana in your view?
I think that they are playing some of the best trench play in the game. Yeah. I mean, their quarterback obviously just won the Heisman, Mendoza. I think they look like a top team and a very proven team, as Darrell just said. I agree with that. Like they're undefeated, and they just won the Big Ten championship. Obviously, I think they could. There's a case to be made that they could win it all. I think Alabama is going to be a very difficult test for them. And Alabama just showed that they can hang in the trenches with a very physical OU. I mean, OU, in my opinion, has a top 5 O-line and D-line in the country. And Brent Venables is an incredible defensive mind, right? And Alabama was behind, 17-0. Come
Right.
back very quick, like they were able to score 17 like that. And then things just were off to the races. And even though OU tried to harness the power of 50 Cent to score another touchdown, it wasn't quite enough. So Bama's going to be a challenge for Indiana. I do believe that. I'm curious to see who comes. I really could see either team winning that game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the one thing I would say about Ohio State that makes me question them is that in the third quarter against Ohio University scored, and I believe it was only 27-9 or 10 at that point. I've seen Ohio State not be challenged, but I haven't seen them run away with games, and I've seen them have a very good defense, but I'm not sold on them. I think what's going to happen is Alabama will defeat Indiana in overtime in a classic Rose Bowl matchup, reminiscent of 2023, I believe, when Michigan won in overtime over Alabama. I think it's going to be a classic. I think Oregon will beat Texas Tech, but I think that the team that Ohio State will not get through is Georgia. I do think Georgia will be successful. And the last thing I'll say concerns Michigan, because there's been a lot of commentary on Michigan. Number one, Michigan's going to be fine. Michigan's an elite institution, academically, athletically. They have inordinate resources. I do think that Michigan needs to go in a different direction in looking for their coach. And I think Lincoln Riley is the person for the job.
Yes, you've mentioned that. You really want to get rid of Lincoln Riley at USC, don't you?
I do, because he's not a good fit for USC, but he's a good fit for Michigan because he'll have the resources. And just because he's an offensive-minded coach who hasn't really given much attention to defense during his tenure at Oklahoma and USC, Michigan is a culture that is built on defense. And I think it could be a marriage of opposites. As they say, opposites sometimes attract. And with the field that you have available in terms of coaching, Lincoln Riley would be an outside-the-box pick that I think would be something that Michigan would benefit from. And, a lot of Michigan fans, one thing I've been a bit, I don't want to say concerned about, but, Michigan fans have very high expectations, but they're the first to say no to these suggestions about outside-the-box coaches. Well, who do you want about who, based on who's available? All right. You could have a coach in Lincoln Riley who has been to the playoffs, who is known to develop quarterbacks who have won Heisman trophies, and you need that right now because Bryce Underwood, although extremely talented, is very raw. And I think that could be a match where, although not conventionally something you would expect at Michigan, could be quite productive. So I would hire Lincoln Riley, and I think ultimately Michigan will be competing for a national championship in 2 years. John, thanks for taking my call as always. Merry Christmas. Always good to see you.
Well, I want to comment on this Lincoln Riley thing real quick.
Sure.
So why would Lincoln Riley want to, I understand you just laid out the case for why Michigan would want Lincoln, but why would Lincoln Riley want to come to Michigan?
Because he has Bryce Underwood and he knows how to develop quarterbacks. And if he develops Bryce Underwood into a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Michigan is going to be a force to be reckoned with because Michigan will always have a powerful defense. They are built on physicality. They're smart, and they win in the trenches. What they struggle with is offense. And look, the J.J. McCarthy was fantastic for Michigan, and that Michigan offense was serviceable. But if you want to have an explosive offense, and if indeed you do have one at Michigan, combined with that defense, Michigan could be unbeatable. And I would encourage the regents at Michigan to think outside the box. Lincoln Riley, based on the coaches that you have available, because it's all relative, Lincoln Riley would be a great choice. So take that $107 or whatever it was, $1 million contract that you wanted to throw at Kalen DeBoer, throw it at Lincoln Riley, because Lincoln Riley's going to have Underwood, and he's going to have the resources, and he's going to have a defense. And that's why it is a marriage made in heaven, or maybe in purgatory, but it's still something that could be productive. So I think Michigan should hire Lincoln Riley.
Interesting. Yeah, I just don't see why. He just got the number 1 class in the country. He's got Jaden Maiava at USC. So I understand Bryce could be an appealing candidate, but I just feel like there's a reason why Turnkey didn't move forward with, like, from what I understand, Lincoln is not one of the current people that Turnkey has been interviewing for the job. And I'm guessing it's because he doesn't want to leave USC. So, like, I get what you're saying, and I think it would be an interesting idea. But does he want it? And it doesn't indicate. The indicators are that he doesn't want to leave USC at the moment. But I'm always down for a change. And I think we need an offense. I think Michigan needs an offensive mind. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I'll say this: the difference that might attract Lincoln Riley is culture. USC is not a disciplined program. USC recruits great skill players, but there's a lot of flash there, but there's not a lot of what Nick Saban would call the process there. And you saw that this year when USC, a lot of talent, but not a lot of discipline. There's something to be said about what people call Michigan men. And I think that refers to a culture at Michigan, a culture of accountability, discipline, grit, and a blue-collar work ethic that creates an elite program. Riley would fit perfectly into that program because he would give Michigan something it hasn't had in a long time, which is a genius offensively, and Michigan would give something to him, which is the culture and the resources to be successful as a team. So that's my thoughts on that. But who knows what will happen. But I think that Michigan should, if they're going to go after Kalen DeBoer, after DeBoer has said twice he's not leaving, well, don't take Riley's reticence to mean.
You're right.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. And
there we go.
Great to see you hosting the show. And Michigan show is fantastic as always. So I appreciate it. It's always good to see you and talk to you.
Likewise, Adam, and everybody should check out Rutgers Scarlet Knights live at the Voice of College Football if you haven't already. So, Adam, thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks. Have a great night.
You as well. Okay, just a reminder to call the show. So we have about 37 more minutes unless we secure $125 additional dollars. So if you want a second hour of the show, now is the time to super chat, super sticker, membership, all of that stuff. We have our next, before we get to our next caller, actually, which will be Daryl, I do want to just say hi to Doreen. Doreen's here. Merry Christmas. Thank you for saying that about me, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for being here. Doreen, a great person, great friend of the network, and of course the host of our Ladies of College Football at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, and I believe she will be back next show, I believe, this next coming Sunday. So let me know, Doreen, if that's the case. And let's go ahead and get to friend of the network, Daryl MVP, in the house tonight. Daryl, good to hear from you as always.
Thank you. You can send that message along that I'm a friend of the program to all your Michigan brethren. I would greatly appreciate it. I feel like that picture behind you every time I go over there on the chat. I just constantly hear them trash talk, which is part of the game, but you know, not exactly the friendliest and warmest environment I've been in my entire life.
Well, listen, you have to understand that the community is very passionate, and so they we like to talk Big Ten, and when we hear about all the SEC, how great it is, it can ruffle some feathers. You understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. It's like a bubble or an echo chamber, and if somebody pierces
exactly, yeah. Well, we try to be America's honesty brokers. Okay, that's what we try to do. But Daryl, what's on your mind tonight?
I think if you want to get Jeff Brom, you need to get the biggest NIL deal of Bush's baked beans you can possibly imagine.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Listen, Brom, we covered Brom today. I don't love the pick, to be honest with you. I don't love the pick. I mean, his offense this season was 70 in the 70s in the country. He's supposed to be this offensive guru. He's going 70 in the country on offense. And it just seems like he's had a few flashes of greatness. He beat Urban Meyer once. That was cool. But he's had a lot of mediocrity. And I don't know if that's a symptom of the fact that the stops he's been at haven't had the resources. But the coaching staff that he picks doesn't really excite me. So I would say if I'm Ward Manuel, oh my God, am I? If I'm,
you're Ward, you don't want to be on the unemployment line. That's where you're going to be. If you're Ward Manuel, you're on the unemployment line.
If I'm running this coaching search, which Ward Manuel apparently is very, very big in this coaching search still, like I would ask for, hey, who is the elite assistant coach you're going to hire? I don't want to hear you're bringing your brothers. Ron English is gonna be there if he came to Michigan because Ward and Stapleton are buddies with him. But I want to hear about some of the top quality assistant pool that you're bringing in.
Absolutely. See, it's interesting hearing your perspective on it because I saw Steve Dace is thoughts, and Steve Dace, notorious Michigan fan, not an SEC homer, and he has the complete opposite perspective as
I'm
you.
aware.
Do you understand where the people who are excited about Jeff Brom are coming from?
I see where they're coming from. I just don't want to be 7-5 and 8-4 perpetually.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me give some pushback to this.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Jerome Moore is probably the most incompetent coach Michigan has had in a pretty long time.
Since Rich Rod and Brady Hoke, at least, yeah.
Yeah, and he may be more incompetent than those two. I'm pretty sure those people at least weren't having allegedly mental breakdowns like every third. I'm sure you saw that report today where
I saw the Detroit Free Press. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they weren't having mental breakdowns. Assuming Jeff Brom isn't like that, he is an immediate upgrade over Jerome Moore, and you're currently not going 8-4 and 7-5. So I don't understand the fear of Michigan fans of saying we're going to go 7-5, 8-4. You're not Nebraska, where you're in the middle of nowhere and you got nothing to do, and you're just going to the void forever. I mean, you're not. That's like what you're all talking about. Is you're going to be the next Nebraska. I mean, that's a little absurd in my opinion. I think you'll be 9-3, 10-2, or 8-4 if you had Jeff Brom as your head coach, and you would make the playoffs more than you wouldn't. You would win a game. You would beat your rival every now and then, which would be nice. Even in a season you didn't make the playoffs. Hey, we beat Ohio State. We ended it on a high note. We're going to a good bowl game. I don't see the real stinker seasons he's had where he's just gone 4-8, 7-5, or 5-7.
Yeah, he's had a few, but it's been more. It's to your point. It's been more 7, 8, 9 wins across his career. I understand what you're saying there. I think we should be going for the best possible candidate, and there is, believe it or not, you could take this with a grain of salt if you want to, but there is still a faction of the Michigan administration that is holding out for DeBoer. Now, I know how ridiculous that sounds, and I even said on air that is a very, 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 very big pipe dream at this time, but it is true. There is a contingent that wants to hold out for Kalen DeBoer. And if they don't get Kalen DeBoer, there's the possibility of Kyle Whittingham as the backup. And Kyle Whittingham has basically said, "I'm open for business. I'm on the transfer portal." And Kyle Whittingham is somebody who's won conference championships. Kyle Whittingham is somebody who's won big games, and I think he's been more consistent in his coaching career with 10-win seasons. Purdue had seasons where, like, if you look at their from 2017 to 22, they started off okay, 7-6, but then started to dip down 6-7, 4-8. The COVID year you can toss out if you want, 2-4, whatever. And then he does rally in the end, 9-4, 8-5. Louisville has been very consistent, 9-10 win seasons. Okay. But like I think Whittingham has been a lot more consistent in his career. And I think that Michigan needs an adult in the room. I think Michigan needs somebody experienced who can come in. He's not going to be looking at OnlyFans during the halftime of the most important games of the season. And
I think almost every coach doesn't do that. I don't think that's something you need to specify during interviews, John.
Well, you never know. But I just think out of all the possible candidates, if DeBoer is, and there are people saying he's a silent to Michigan. This is not like completely out of the realm. But if DeBoer wins and beats Indiana, I think it's over. I think any chance of DeBoer coming to Michigan is over if he beats Indiana. Then you go for Kyle Whittingham, a proven winner, and he's available and he wants to come to Michigan. His people literally have put out the word, we want to come to Michigan. So Brahm still is apparently very happy at Louisville. And it's his alma mater. And he said as recently as 2 hours ago that he's very happy at Louisville. So, like, if I'm judging that, I want the guy who's eager to come here, who's got experience. He's a young 66. He actually beat, I heard he beat Joel Klatt at Peloton during an interview, and raced more or whatever it was with the Peloton than Joel Klatt. So that's pretty cool. And you do a couple of years of him, and then you go on a national search to find the next Bo or the next Jim Harbaugh or whatever you want to say. But he is somebody who's a consistent winner, I believe.
So let me ask this in terms of strategy.
Yeah,
is Kalen DeBoer, to me, he's not the bridge coach. He's going to be the coach you have for 10 to 15 years.
Correct. Yes.
Where anybody else is the bridge. So
Correct.
Would you rather have the bridge and be 10-2, 9-3, or even 11-1 with Kyle Whittingham? Because I believe he's one of the best coaches in America with what he's been able to do at Utah. Certainly one of the most consistent. Or would you rather have Kalen DeBoer for the next 10 years? I think that's really the split between the two sides. And to me, I think Kyle Whittingham may arguably deliver better results because Kalen DeBoer, to me, he had an elite year at Washington, but he had the best quarterback. In Alabama, he's kind of, I don't want to say he's floundering because that's not the right word, but he's not living up to the expectations of even reasonable Alabama fans. You know, like Jeffrey and Jackson, they're reasonable Alabama fans.
Yes.
They don't want him fired, but Alabama should have not lost to a 5-7 Florida State team. There's just no excuse for that to happen. And if Kyle Whittingham was your coach, that wouldn't happen. Or if it's Kalen DeBoer, that could happen. So to me, I would rather have Kyle Whittingham as my coach for a few years, then get somebody super young, and then do it fine. That's what I would do, personally. I just think that strategy is better overall than the Kalen DeBoer strategy, because there's going to be tons of coaches out there that we don't even know about that are going to be hotshot head coaches that absolutely want to come, and you're locked in with a guy who, in my opinion, is not that really great, your caliber of job.
So are you saying that Kalen DeBoer is actually not the best option for Michigan?
I don't think he's the best option in your current situation.
Interesting. See, this is where let me lay out why Kalen DeBoer, why there's still some holding out of hope for Kalen DeBoer. First of all, so Courtney, the general manager Courtney Morgan, was just spotted on. So this was actually confirmed by one of our people that is in the know in Ann Arbor, that Courtney Morgan was in Ann Arbor recently. Courtney Morgan has helped Alabama get the number 2 recruiting. I can't believe I'm defending the SEC right now and Alabama to you, Tyrell. But this is bizarre because I was just defending Ohio State to Adam. This is crazy. But number 2 recruiting class in the nation at Alabama. Courtney Morgan would of course be coming to Michigan if this were to happen. Courtney Morgan was the former Michigan director of player personnel and also played at Michigan is his alma mater. And so you get him. You potentially get Nick Grubb, I think, or Ryan Grubb, OC. He's a great, in my opinion, really great OC. Calls a good game. Got Ty Simpson to a potential Heisman conversation at least, and then a defense which is better than you'd think, right? And so you might want to upgrade at defense if DeBoer takes the Michigan job, which again is a enormous if. So I think that's why there's a faction, because I think that people see the ceiling with DeBoer as playoffs, and look, he's in the playoffs right now.
Well, ceiling for DeBoer, we know what it is. It's national championship. He was at Washington, and he made the national championship game, for goodness sake. I would assume Michigan has more resources and more money and more will than Washington.
Yeah.
So their ceiling is his ceiling is national championship. I guess my thing is, if I'm looking at Kalen DeBoer as not a bridge, I'm looking at him as a permanent guy. So it's not, is Kalen DeBoer better than every coach out there right now? He obviously, in my opinion, he is just barely ahead of Kyle Whittingham. But is he going to be better than every coach out there for 3 to 5 years? And I don't know necessarily if that's true.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to be, if I had to pick right now, and again, I've already been wrong a couple of times in this because the intel changes daily. We didn't know that Dillingham was going to not do super well, according to some in his interview. Kenny Dillingham was a 1B option. And it turned out that some in the administration believed he wasn't a good fit for Michigan for whatever reason. But DeBoer is still, that's the one thing that all these different factions, these warring factions in the administration, the one thing they can agree on is DeBoer. They like DeBoer. They'd like to have DeBoer at Michigan. So then it becomes, who's the plan B, right? And you need a plan B. You can't just keep hoping.
Well, you need a plan B, C, D, E. You don't need just a plan B.
Correct. And so I think Whittingham is a very strong one, like plan B option to get you a couple of years of strong stability and great defensive mind. And I think he would be a good choice. I don't love the Braum pick. I will say that one that I haven't heard getting a lot of play, but I like the idea, is the Georgia D coordinator, Schumann. We just saw that work out for Oregon, hiring the Georgia D coordinator, and they wound up with Dan Lanning. And so I don't hate the idea of at least giving him a couple of interviews as well.
No, unproven head coaches are such a mixed bag, though. I mean, they can go elite or they could be horrendous and awful.
And we know that from Sharon Moore. So I understand. I understand that completely. But if I had to pick one, it would be him.
Yeah, and just to finalize my bridge argument and why I'm more bridge side, let's say you hire Kalen DeBoer. In my opinion, James Franklin is not going to stay at Virginia Tech forever. You get Kyle Whittingham for 3 to 5 years. Virginia Tech goes to elite, makes the playoffs. He says he hits the ceiling at Virginia Tech, he gets on the market, and then he goes to Michigan as a possible.
Oh, don't put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby. James Franklin?
Yeah, listen. Would you not be happy making the playoffs every single year, winning 10, 11 games? Like, would you not be happy with that? He made the Final Four in his first year under the 12-team format. I mean, but to me, James Franklin's a better coach than Kalen DeBoer, and he's somebody who is not on the market, but in 3 to 5 years will almost certainly be on the market.
Yeah.
Now, I could be way out there, and I could be wrong, and he doesn't fit the culture or vibe or what.
He's a fine coach. I think he's going to do great things at Virginia Tech. I really do. And I'm not saying that with an ounce of sarcasm. I think he's going to win 10, 11 games every year in that kind of weak conference.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. And I think he's already recruiting, and he's doing a great job of recruiting over there. My problem with him is that he was always the media darling, but his big game record wasn't very good, right? He lost to Michigan pretty regularly. The only time he beat Ohio State was that fluke win in 2016, and he wins a Big Ten championship. Of course, that same year, he got stomped by Michigan, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. So his big game tendency was to lose them. And so I think that his record was pretty fraudulent and pretty, it was kind of like Sharon Moore in 2025 with the 9-3 record where
I would say I think James Franklin beats USC. When you talk about big games, you're talking about like Big Ten title or top 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have finished 11-1 this year with Michigan's schedule. And he would have only lost to Ohio State at the end of the season, like he would always do.
Right. Now that would be that. Now that sounds good.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know if he'd beat OU. Maybe USC. I think you're right. I think he could potentially take USC. But 10-2.
You're in the playoffs. That's 10-2.
You're right. You're right about that.
And you would do that almost every year.
James Franklin, though, I just
you're not even at the dance yet. Like Jeff Brom has never been to the dance.
I get it.
Almost every coach outside of Kalen DeBoer has not even been to the dance. So making the dance is already an improvement.
Yeah.
You're just out there all alone, John, and it's okay, man. You need 2 to enter, and James Franklin could eventually be that second person to bring in.
Hey, listen, we're going to the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, okay?
Yeah, I know. I've seen that line move against you this whole entire time. I don't think it's moved in your favor at all. Is it 7.5 or 8 now?
Listen, I think those players are going to come out pissed off. I think I think we're going to see the best the offenses looked all season because we know that Sharon Moore put a giant anchor on the offense in terms of the personnel groupings. Limited what Chip Lindsey could call in terms of play calls. And now we know Chip Lindsey's off to Missouri, but Steve Casula is going to be calling the plays. And I think you're going to see a very open offense. So as far as I do predict Texas is going to win. I want to say I predicted 33-18 on the Jackson Johnson show the other day. On Monday, last night, we did the SEC Live with Jackson Johnson, and I had 33-18. But I wouldn't be completely shocked because Texas wanted the playoffs. Texas wanted to be in the playoff. They don't want to play in this game.
At least they didn't quit like Notre Dame did.
True.
So they're better than Notre Dame automatically.
Very true. Darrell, you got a final thought for us? Looks like we got some callers lining up here.
Yeah, it's been a good conversation. I don't think to say is Biff Poggi. I don't think he should be the coach. I really like what he's saying, though. He's doing all the right things. I think Michigan's going to have a spread offense, which welcome to the 2020s by having a spread offense. Welcome to the modern age. I really like him, so I hope whoever they hire keeps him on his staff because he understands to me the cultural rut Michigan is, and you need somebody who understands the outside perspective of how people view your program. So to me, he's a great guy.
There you go. All right, well, there's the Darrell endorsement. Thanks, Darrell. Okay, so folks, if you want a second hour of this show, we need $120 more in super chats to get to a second hour. Otherwise, 15 more minutes. That's it. Let's take this super chat. Thanks to Jackson Johnson, Lincoln Riley, Jen Cohen, and especially Pete Bavacqua all suck. Those 3 are on my shit list until Notre Dame USC comes back. 30 down, 120 to go. That's Jackson Johnson, our chief marketing officer. All right. Since we only have 15 minutes, unless we get another 120, I'm going to put the 5-minute timer on for the next few calls. And we are going to start with the 5-minute timer for HOF Trey. So, Trey, thanks for joining us here at CFB Late Night.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
What's on your mind tonight?
Everybody's talking about these overrated coaches. I don't think Kalen DeBoer fits the culture of neither Michigan nor Alabama. It's very. I don't know why he's even there in Alabama. He don't fit the culture. If you look at the offices, it's not about the offices. It's just a example of the culture. You look at his office, to Nick Saban's office, and you see Nick is old style, disciplined tradition. And this is like, I don't even know what his office is. Just drip. And if you got all but nothing but drip, but you don't have no discipline and hard work and effort and making sure everybody's the same and equal on your team, no one's above anybody else, you got nothing. And that's what Kalen DeBoer is. He worries about a dumbass jacket that don't win him fucking games. and you see that stupid black jacket that didn't win him the Georgia game. So I wish I put that hoodie over his head and just tie the knot on his damn strings to make him shut up. But also, I would say James Franklin's not going to fit it either. He don't fit the culture at Michigan either. He lose big games. Michigan don't really lose big games. The best coach y'all had in a while, except for Lloyd Carr. I love Lloyd Carr. I really loved that guy. He was great. And then the other coach, Bo. I think it was Bo. What's his name? You're a Michigan guy.
Bo Schembechler.
Yeah, those two are my favorite guys. And I think Jim Harbaugh was the guy. And he already did accomplish what he said he was going to do. He won y'all a championship. So it was nothing else much he can do. And so he went to the NFL again.
He wanted to win a Super Bowl.
Hey, there you go. Now he's getting there. He got the Chargers looking good. But the guy y'all need to look for is Jason Eck.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Eck. He's already a Big Ten guy. He went to college in Wisconsin. He won. I think he won the FCS title. Did he even do that? I think he won and went to 3 FCS tournament.
He's legit. He's legit.
And you look at New Mexico, they are trash. Now, in a couple years, he already got them 9-3. When the last time New Mexico went 9-3 was like Brian Urlacher. And Brian Urlacher was a monster in those days, man. They had that defense going with the safety / linebacker hybrid. And now look at what Mr. Eck done. I mean, this is great. He might be there for the next couple of years. But if Michigan don't get him, what about Iowa might get him? Or Wisconsin? Go back to his alma mater. Michigan.
Ray, I think he's going to go. I think he's waiting for Fickle to get fired, and then he's going to get hired at Wisconsin next year. That's my prediction.
But why wait until Luke Fickle gets fired? Imagine Michigan go ahead and take him. I think he'd do great. You got that offense pretty good. Pretty good defense in New Mexico. I'd be shocked if they're not going to take John Eck. Forget about Kellen DeBoer. He's already messing up a traditional school. You don't want him to do it again. With Michigan.
Well, the administration doesn't agree with you, unfortunately, Trey. They want to hold out for DeBoer, and potentially. Yep. Now we know that Turnkey, which is the firm, they are interviewing candidates throughout the week. Candidates are being interviewed. Brahm's people have been in talks.
Well, I like Brian Brahm, but he don't fit the Michigan mold. I like how he's in Louisville or Purdue. I think he does good with smaller teams. He's not ready for that big step yet.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But James Franklin, he fits the mold perfectly in Virginia Tech.
Yes, I agree.
He's like he's just average. Compared to big schools, he's very average in winning big games. I mean, he's below average, but winning games when he's supposed to, he's pretty dang good at it. And Virginia Tech has a very low standard right now. They haven't had nobody legit since the guy before Brent Pry. Brent Pry was a letdown.
Yeah,
that guy, I don't know why he wasn't even there. We never hear about them except Virginia Tech having a bad season. But I think it's a great culture he's going to build over there. They really do need it since what's the damn name? I forgot. The South Carolina's Frank Beamer. Yeah, there you go. Frank Beamer. It's been a while, and they needed that. I think they really need them. I think this is the next big step for Virginia Tech. And for my last point here, before I let you go, I'm tired of people hating on Ohio State of what they've done. If you look at Ohio State this year and last year, but especially this year, I think they have proven, shadow of a doubt, they are very consistent. And it doesn't matter who they play. They've always been consistent over the last decade. Actually, more than a decade. They always had the discipline, a good balanced team, especially this year. You don't see the passing nor the running taking over. It's always been pretty balanced. And Justin Sand ain't, throwing big numbers. He's not throwing it all over the place. He's pretty much a game manager. He's doing what he needs to do. I don't know. I'm not even sure why he was a Heisman candidate, but whatever. But he's a good guy and also a great defense. Who the hell? Why would you say Why do you say the Buckeyes are not a great team? They got a freaking awesome defense. They held
number one in the country.
13 points. 13 points. Yeah. Who's going to do that? I don't think nobody else will, except for Georgia maybe. And they're starting to click at the right time.
That's it. Yeah, I think I think Michigan does give Ohio State credit for the consistency. I agree with Goats. I think we do give them the credit. We don't like them. Michigan doesn't like Ohio State, but I
don't either.
But the consistency is obvious.
When Urban Meyer left. Urban Meyer retired and went somewhere else. I'm like, you liar. I don't like him either. But you got to call a spade a spade. Ohio State's been pretty damn good all the damn time.
Very, very true. Trey, you got a final thought for us? We got some more callers, and show's going to be over soon. So what's up?
Yeah, sure. I'll say for the Georgia and Ole Miss game, everybody's overlooking it, and I'm going to say Ole Miss, they got to stop that running game for Georgia. If they don't, Georgia will run them all over the place. They might not need to pass it. That's how bad that Ole Miss defense is. They probably run 300 yards, John. They're that bad. But can their offense, the question is, can their offense keep up if Georgia slows down the tempo with a run, then another run? Do they have enough time with a good, they have a pretty good offense, but do they have time with a good, very good defense that's starting to find their legs now? And can they keep that momentum if they sustain one drive? Can they do it again and again while the clock is getting chewed in the last time, because Georgia's going to keep away that ball.
Yeah. No, Georgia's always like that. And I feel like Ole Miss,
they're doing it more than ever.
I feel like Ole Miss, it's interesting because we don't know what Ole Miss really truly is without Lane Kiffin yet.
I don't think they're going to be the same. I just don't see. They have a good coach. That's a good replacement. I think it would be better, but not right now. Yeah, I think it's just too sudden. But I think this is the most running game Georgia team since Todd Gurley. I mean, this is consistent running almost for the last couple of weeks. And I have not seen them do that in a while. And they needed to do that. And they got some good backs to do it.
All right, Trey. Well, appreciate you calling in, man. And we'll see you soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and your family, John.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Bye. Okay. Next up, again, we'll hit the fight. If you guys want the show to keep going, otherwise, Keith is going to be the last caller tonight because we're already at almost an hour. So if you want a second hour, you want to hear from some more callers, go ahead and super chat and we can keep the show going. Otherwise, let's bring on, he is a friend of the program. He's a friend of the Michigan channel, especially. We got Keith Rebar in the house. Keith, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good, John. The hardest working man in YouTube these days.
That's what it seems like, right? I just said 2.5 hour show over there. the Michigan channel, and here we are over. Mark Rogers asked me to do this one, and here we are.
Yeah. On the last show, I was limited to 250 characters. I don't know why, the old Twitter limit. And so I had to cut out a lot of my Kalen DeBoer stuff. But, I said Kalen's been abused by Bama Nation and Bama administration after every loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kalen DeBoer is seriously considering the Michigan job, but he's using it to motivate his players. Like, if you guys play your hearts out and you win 2 or 3 more games here, you get to keep me. Otherwise, I'm going to Michigan, where I'm not going to be taking the shit every time I lose a game. And that's good coaching to me, because his first job right now is to win Bama a national championship. Right?
Yeah.
And if he wins Bama, he's off the hot seat, and all the shit that he's been putting up with for the last 2 years goes away, just like Days
Exactly.
did. Yep. So he can't lose. And if he doesn't make the championship game, I think the Bama fans are going to dump on him again. Do you remember what DeRio said about Bama when they lost to, who was it?
Georgia?
No, the first game.
I have to go back to
Florida State, right?
Yes, Florida. Yes.
Yeah.
That was it.
DeRio said Bama's the 6th best team in the SEC.
Wow.
They're no good. They lost to Michigan in the bowl game, and now they lost to Florida State. They're the 6th best team in the SEC.
Yeah, and then they went 8 straight wins in a row,
including beating Georgia.
Right, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. And then another 3 ranked opponents after that. Yeah.
And that's the kind of shit that Kalen has taken this year, and he's gotten it not just from DeRio, but that was all of Bama Nation and the administration. They're not quite fully prepared to give him extension right now. It's been sitting on the table for a while.
Well, here's what I think. I would love for you to be right, Keith. I would love for there to be a major announcement right after the first of the year. Major announcement, we're hiring Kalen DeBoer at the University of Michigan. The reality is, I think that ship is already sailed, in my opinion. I think that I do think there was a chance until he beat OU. I don't see him leaving now. I really don't. And so I understand that there's a faction of our administration and Board of Regents that wants to wait for DeBoer, which is why if we don't hear an announcement in the next few days, we're probably waiting for DeBoer.
What will Bama Nation say if DeBoer loses to Indiana?
They're not going to be happy. Go to Michigan. Go leave.
That's right. So
they were already saying it when he was down 17-0 in the OU game.
That's right. Yep. And so Kalen has not gotten his job. Like I say, he has to make the championship game. If he loses in the quarters or the semis, he's going to take a lot of shit.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm thinking more the Kyle Whittingham route at this point, because I just don't. I think we need to close on a candidate at this point. The transfer portal opens January 2nd. I get what people are saying, and it might be that the plan is to see if DeBoer wins or loses, and then go lock Whittingham down immediately after. Because you've got to immediately lock him if
at the end of 23, I would agree with you 100%. At the end of 23, That's when he beat USC to put them out of the playoffs and got Ohio State in, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he could eat free for the next 3 years in Columbus because he got Ohio State in the playoff that year.
Mm-hmm.
But since 23, the last 2 years, Kyle Whittingham hasn't been close to sniffing a Big 12 championship. I believe he's been 7-5 and 8-4 in 2 years. He's lost quite a few games, and he's not really been highly competitive in the Big 12 even.
Yeah, I mean, two conference titles in 21 and 22 is nothing to scoff at. He had a rough year in 24, but remember, his quarterback, like the quarterback that he thought he was going to have, was not the quarterback he wound up with for that season. And so that was part of that issue. He went 10-2 this year. It's pretty good.
Yeah, 10-2 is good.
He's rallied. And in his whole career, he's 177-88. So he's won a lot of games, 11-6 in bowls. And he's won winning 2 conference titles is nothing to scoff at. So I think I think he's a great defensive mind. He's going to need to hire a dynamic offensive coordinator, but I think he has the connections to do that.
Well, I agree. 10-2 was good. I didn't realize he was better this year.
Yeah.
How close was he to the Big 12 championship game?
Well, at 10-2, let's see. So Big 12 conference. Let's see who else was. So he was 7-2 in conference. So
Texas Tech won it.
And BYU were 8-1. So he was 1 away.
He was 1 away. Okay.
So that's not bad. He was literally 3rd.
Well, that is being elitely competitive in the Big 12 then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so he might be all right. I just think there's a 50% chance it's going to be Poggi with Sharon Moore's deal. Well, listen, this is what
I understand. I
know, but he's going to get Sharon Moore's deal, and what Sharon Moore got was $5.5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Only $1 million a year was guaranteed. So if they were to fire him before he served the day of that contract, it would have cost him $4 million to get out of it. And each year it went down by $1 million. So that's called a stopgap contract. Is that you could potentially be there for 4 years, but we can get rid of you anytime we want. And we can upgrade you anytime we want. Not get rid of you, but upgrade you anytime we want.
Keith, so, do you understand that if he gets hired, that we're basically saying we concede the season? Because you have to understand that even now for the Citrus Bowl, the players and the coaches, one hand is on the play sheet, one hand is on the cell phone talking to their agents about the opportunities at Oregon, at Texas, at Georgia for, this is for $2 million, this is for $1.5 million, and everybody's considering their options right now. You have to understand that. Biff Poggi you can't have an interim anymore. It wasn't even effective for Ohio State pre-NIL when they had Fickle. And now it's going to be Biff Poggi in the NIL era, in the transfer portal era. No way. I don't think you can. I know Ward could do it because Ward likes to take the easy way out. He is the most do-nothing athletic director I've ever seen. So he might do it, and you might be right.
Well,
and it will be catastrophic for the team.
So far, with only 3 opt-outs and only 1 transfer portal entry, Biff is doing an amazing job of holding the team together. But a couple people in the chat and TJ was saying there's possibly going to be 25 people opt out of the bowl game. What is the source for that 25 number?
Well, that's the thing. We had literally just heard on air that there was a Texas podcast that Biff had allegedly been on, but I don't know if it's even real. Like, we're still trying to figure out, is that a real podcast or was it artificial intelligence?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see.
We don't know yet if it was AI or if it was real. And even if it was real, I don't think he meant 25 opt-outs. I think he meant 25 people may not come back next year.
But 25 people in the portal, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that
would mean Bryce Underwood, Andrew Marsh.
Yeah.
Half of the starters.
Yeah.
Everybody is abandoning ship.
Yeah.
And so far, if it wasn't AI, we would see that as a lead story in ESPN and CBS Sports and everything. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, that must have been AI.
Yeah, we'll see.
The point is, Biff is keeping that class together. Now, the question is our offense going to be better next year than this year with Biff?
Is our offense going to be better next year than that? Well, yeah, because Sharon isn't going to have his mitts on the offense anymore. So
that's true.
So if they have, I think if Biff gets the job, he'll have Steve Casula as offensive coordinator, and probably Steve Casula, and they'll go 80 to 90th instead of 100th in passing offense. So I don't know. I'm
and who do we have at running back next year?
At running back coach or running back room? Like
the running back room.
If it's Biff,
yeah.
Probably Jasper Parker.
No, we have Jordan Marshall is still coming back.
No, he's gone.
He's gone?
I think he's gone with Biff. Well, and if he stays, you're gonna have to give him a hell of an NIL deal. Hyder might stay because if Tony Alford stays, but that's a big if also.
But Hyder's probably getting a hell of an NIL deal to come here already.
True.
He's got to come to maintain his NIL deal.
Yeah, I think the one that's for certain gone. I mean, nothing's for certain, but I would say Haynes is probably Justice Haynes for sure, or like 99% likely would not come back with Biff.
Haynes is probably going pro.
Yeah, so I think you're looking at Marshall as a maybe, Hyder if Tony Alford sticks around. But I don't know.
And a second year Bryce.
No, Bryce is out. I believe that with almost 100% certainty that Bryce is gone if Biff is the head coach, because there's no confidence in the offense.
That's not what we're hearing out of the practices, is it?
If you have the Keith, imagine you're in that position and you have the option of going somewhere like, I don't know, Oregon they have Dante, but a school that is an elite school that has elite quarterback coaching and offense, or you stick around at Michigan with an interim head coach who's probably going to get fired, and then like Steve Casula is your offensive coordinator. I don't know. I really think that everybody is overestimating how many players would stick around with Biff. I do think some would, because we've talked to some players and some families that would stick around and they are excited about Biff. But the big talent, The big talent, I don't know if they. I don't. So maybe Marshall stick. People are pushing back on the Marshall that he'd stick around. Okay, he'd stick around. Fine, I'll give you that. But
So we have Marshall and Hyder in the backfield.
sure.
We'd have Marsh and somebody else in the receiver
I don't
field.
know if Marsh stays around with Biff and Casula. I don't know.
I tell you, if you think about it from Bryce's point of view,
Yeah.
if I stick around and Andrew sticks around and Savion comes in and Marshall's there,
Yeah.
and Klein comes back, then we have some weapons. I have some weapons to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see. I don't think anything's certain. I don't think anything's perfectly certain with Biff. And I don't think that I don't know. I don't know if Tony Alford, I hope Tony Alford would stick around.
But I'm hearing from not only the players, but the players' family that they are willing to stick around for Biff.
Yes, I've heard from some players' families too that they would. Not the top player, not like the Andrew Marshes, but players and players' families that are going to stick around. But the point is, I see, and we do have to run soon. But I see that as a 6-6 season next year. If it's Biff, to be honest with you, the schedule is brutal next year. And
it is brutal, but I still think our ceiling is pretty close to. I mean, our floor is pretty close to 8-4. We have 4 tough games.
Yeah,
but we should win the rest of them with whoever we have at coach.
We will see. But Keith, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I don't know if you have like a last thought for us before we sign off.
Last thought is Michigan basketball is rolling historically this year.
Yes, they are.
And they're a great ticket. If you get a chance to go. It's a good show.
Yeah. I'll have to get over to Michigan's. Well, actually, they'll probably come over to Maryland at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'll have to go next time there in Maryland for sure. Because I just went to the Maryland game, for football. Ago, and that was fun. So
yeah,
we'll see. Because I'm over in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Oh, the last thing I'll give you is, you know that Michigan was the only school in NCAA history last year to have first-round draft picks in football, basketball, baseball, and hockey.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Only school in history.
There it is.
So, if you look at the whole spectrum, you got to say Ward's doing pretty good because the Michigan schools in all the sports are doing pretty well.
Okay. Oh, you're slipping in the Ward's doing good at the end here, Keith. Oh man, that we're gonna have to go a whole nother show on that because
I know, but they sure got a lot of problems.
I refer you to the entire episode that I did when Ward got renewed last.
I know. Ward has so many problems in the last 5 years of the football program. The biggest one is that Weiss character.
Yeah, not just football either. He kept Juwan Howard after he slapped a coach on national television. The hockey situation, it's not just football.
It's not just football, yeah.
But
we had a doctor that did kind of like the MSU doctor too.
Yeah, that was pre-Ward, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, that wasn't great either. That's true. That was before Ward's time. But, not great stuff. But yes, you're right that that Michigan basketball is on a tear right now, and I look for we'll start talking more basketball on the show soon after the citrus is over.
Yeah, cool.
All right, Keith. Merry
All right.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and go blue.
Go blue. All right, Keith. And we went a little over time today, but I think it was a great conversation with friend of the program, Keith Rebar, charter member of the Connor Stallions espionage team over at the Michigan Channel. A reminder that we have a merch store, and our merch store, it's got all kinds of products for you, for the whole family. Anything from hats to shirts to camo trucker hats. There's even, we just talked Michigan, so here's the Michigan section with a variety of gear, t-shirts and things for the whole family. Over here, I really also enjoy the Oklahoma channel stuff with Zeno, the dog, very cool there. But check it out. That's the merch store. Get yourself some merch. And aside from that, if you are doing some last minute shopping, because you still have a little bit of time before Christmas to get an overnight shipment. If you do that, why not get Mark Rogers a couple of bucks? So go to the link in the description section of every video to the Amazon link, and then go do your last minute Christmas shopping. Of course, make sure to check that it's immediate delivery. You know, you don't want to pick anything that's going to deliver after the Christmas, but anything that's like going to deliver tomorrow. Just hit the Amazon link, get the last minute stuff that you need. And then Mark Rogers benefits as well, which is always great. Let's take a look at these comments, and then we're going to sign off. We've got Moose. We got Michigander. We've got George, our buddy George, long time viewer and listener of the program here at the Voice of College Football. We got Jackson Johnson, our chief marketing officer, stopping by, also the host of the Alabama Crimson Tide live show at the Voice of College Football. Roll Tide for life. So again, another Alabama fan here with us. We got Florida fans, we got Alabama fans, we got a Wolverine Nation who were supporting us tonight. And smash that like button from Michigander. Okay. Folks, I want to wish it's 3 minutes from Christmas Eve. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, your friends, your family, your loved ones. If I ask y'all for one thing, it's to remember that life is short and enjoy this time with your people. Whoever your people are, enjoy this time with your people. If you need to do a Zoom call, if you need to do a phone call, whatever, or just hang out with the community and the Discord chats and the X and everything that's out there to be connected. Now's the time to just enjoy with family, with friends, with significant others. This year was big for me because I went from being a single person to an engaged person. And so that was a huge, this year has been pretty amazing in a lot of ways. So Merry Christmas, everybody in chat, to Stallions, to Michigander, to Blue Wolverine, everybody who's here, Braska Rascal, Goat Since Yost. Enjoy this time with Ward Manuel while we have him. Yes. All right. There it is. All right, everybody. That does it for tonight here at the Voice of College Football. My name's John Diadamo, and I was your host, filling in for the great Mark Rogers. Join me every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Michigan Wolverines Live. Next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have Matt Miller, the host of our Texas Longhorns show, with us to preview the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. It's going to be great. And until then, we'll see you soon. and appreciate everybody hitting the like button. Go enjoy your Christmas. And if I don't see you by New Year, have a happy New Year as well. We're going to wrap things up with a message from Mark Rogers on Voice of College Football Bets. Good night, everybody.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.